Schwellenbach, the starter for Atlanta. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
All right, we are back. Rashad Beer, what's happening, fella?
I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Why can I not hear Rashad Beard?
Cordell Construction.
Because you're really loud.
They finally threw up the road.
I got the commercials going too, but I still should be able to hear him.
I hear commercials.
There he is. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys?
How we feeling, brother?
Good.
Got the PNP Army trickling in. Welcome to the Panther Nation podcast. Fans and comrades that are joining us. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. How'd the roundtable go?
It was good. Good stuff. A lot of trash talking.
I like
especially
that.
From the Falcons.
Falcons stop it. Yeah, not them.
On the high horse right now, obviously, rightfully so, with all the additions that they made. So they're a little hype.
I got them picked to win the division. I got them picked to make the playoffs by winning the division. And even though it would make me look wrong on the radio, Rashad, nothing would make me happier than to watch them crash and burn.
I agree. We typically do predictions every round table, and I also picked the same Falcons to win the division, and go to the playoffs. But I agree with you. I would love to see them fail miserably.
I have said for years, Rashad, I will, as a Saints fan, I will have friendly back and forth with Panther fans all day. All right. I like Panthers fans. I have not been to Charlotte wearing full black and gold and not have a killer time. All right. Panthers fans are great. They're fun on the show. They're fun on your pod. They're fun at games, whatever. I can have a good friendly rivalry with Panther fans. I can't stand Atlanta, dude. I can't stand I've never been to Atlanta and walked out of there going, that was fun.
Yeah. Falcons. I don't really enjoy them too much either, but hey, it is what it is. They exist.
They exist.
Maybe you should move your shirt down just a little bit. I'm just saying because I realize it's the Millennium Falcon, but it does have Falcon on it. So the whole time you're talking, and it has Falcon colors. I'm just saying, you can go ahead and take that off and throw something else on if you want.
The list of good Falcons starts and ends with Millennium and peanut butter, and those are the only good Falcons.
Always live on the Free Odyssey app. Now, the Infinity Sports Network. Get in the game on the Rob Brown Show.
Only on the Fan.
The Fan
Upstate.
It's the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. It is Thursday. It is 8:40 a.m., which means it is time to take a roadie, virtually, of course, right up the road to Charlotte, North Carolina, and that is where we find our next guest. He joins us every Thursday at this time to talk a little Carolina Panther football. He is the host, one half of the Panther Nation podcast. He, of course, is Rashad Beard joining us here on the show. What's up, fella? How we feeling, big dog?
What's going on? Feeling good. 1 week closer to real football, so I'm excited. Right? Let's get it. Ready to go.
I'm at the point now where, we're in sports talk, and so we're supposed to talk about sports. But, as a football fan, Rashad, I've kind of hit the point where I'm like, bro, I'm done talking. Everything that needs to be said's been said. Every bit of trash talk we got in us has been let out at this point. The hate's out in the universe. Can we just strap them up and play at this point?
Yeah. We want, especially for Carolina Panthers fans, we have yet to see our starting guys play. And so we're itching, we're chomping at the bit to see our guys. So, this preseason can't be done soon enough. Next week, you got roster cut downs. And so, we're excited to get there. We want to see our guys. We want to see Bryce. We want to see the offensive line. We want to see Canales and the improvements. We want to see it all. And we just haven't seen it yet. So we're, a little antsy right now.
Talk to me a little bit about that, because that is something that Lonzo's been on for a hot minute now. Is Canales has not turned the starters loose. You told us last week not to expect them in the game against the Jets because of how many reps they got during the live scrimmage portion of the joint practice. We know Buffalo's not rolling the starters out this weekend, which led me to think if you're going to turn the starters loose, this would be the weekend to do it, right? Like send them out there, let them beat up on Buffalo's number twos or at least try to get some reps in against Buffalo's number twos in some live action. Do we have any indication? Because my other thought has been, look, I get BY's gotten a lot of reps in practice. I know a lot of reps in practice is a good thing, but getting some road reps in, even against a half audience in a roadie in the preseason, getting some live reps on an away field against a defense full of guys trying to either make or solidify their spot on the team might be a good thing for the second-year QB in Carolina. Will we see the starters this week against Buffalo?
It's a double-edged sword, man. I really think it's a double-edged sword when it comes to playing together because I want to see them. I mean, that's for my own selfishness. I would like to see our starters play. Like, I want to see what we got. We haven't seen it all offseason. We haven't seen it all training camp except for in the joint practices. So I want to see it. I want to see the pre-snap motion. I want to see Deontay Johnson, the Bryce Young connection has been hyped up all offseason. I want to see it. But at the same time, I kind of get it, especially from the prior weeks, in that you didn't have your full complement of the offensive line, right? Damian Lewis dealing with some issues. You didn't want to throw it out there, throw your guys out there and potentially, get Bryce hurt or whatever the case may be, or injure guys even further. So I understand him not wanting to play the guys. Will he play them against the Bills? I don't know, man. Are we going to take that much away from them going against some twos, right? Is it that important? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I've talked to guys like Jonathan Stewart, and he says, listen, we don't need the reps. I don't need it. But at the same time, this is a new system. I don't know, man. I would like to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's I'm glad you said it that way, because Lonzo and I were kicking this thing back and forth a little earlier this week, and I kind of said the same thing. Like, wanting to see the starters that's just what we want, and what we want doesn't make what's best for the team. That's why fans don't get decisions of what an NFL team does. I think we all agree that this team needs the reps, right? Like, it's a first year coach, first year OC, first year playbook, first year scheme, first year for a lot of the guys working with BY. I've said a couple of times, the report came out last week that last offseason, the playbook changed 3 times before they got out there and started running it in the regular season. So I've made the joke, but it's not really a joke, that it's Bryce Young's rookie year, and I would treat him as if it was. But at the end of the day, and I hate to say this because it sounds so damn passive, Rashad, but this is a spot where I think as a fan, I just got to sit back and go, I trust Dave Canales to know what's best for this team. That's why you hired him. Let my man go to work.
That's literally been my message to the Panther Nation. This entire offseason, all the moves that we made, or lack of moves that we made, is that, hey, man, we don't know what we have. We don't know what we don't know. And I'm a data guy, right? We don't have any data that proves him to be right or wrong. This is the first time he's been a head coach. This is the first time he's actually pulling the levers on whether we're going to play starters or not, and whether it's going to work. Next year, things may change based on the data that we have this year. But as of right now, all we can do as a fan is just say, hey, let's trust him. This is not Matt Rule. This is not Frank Reich. He deserves a clean slate, and let's treat him as such. I know we want to see it as fans, but hey, let the man cook, and let's see what we got.
I mentioned this during the week. I think it would feel a little bit better if we at least saw Andy Dalton in there, because the quarterback play we're getting right now, it's no indication of what this offense is going to be. At least with Andy Dalton in there, you get a taste of what the Canales offense would be like, and I think that's also very frustrating.
I agree, Zoe, but Dalton's been injured too. Like, he's been dealing with the hamstring, so that's why you haven't seen Dalton. I think they are hyping him up as if he is going to play if he's healthy. But that's a part of the game, right? We've been dealing with so many injuries that's probably the reason why you're not seeing a lot of the guys. But I certainly agree. I think that Dalton helps us truly see what we have in our depth, right? We don't know what we have in guys like Jalen Coker, because you got Jack Plummer. All due respect to Jack Plummer, but he's not the guy we want throwing to a guy like Jalen Coker. We don't know what we have yet. So I agree with those points. It's very valid.
Yeah, no, I do too, as far as that goes. But I'd also say every one of these sentences we said about it is we want to see. Don't matter. No, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what is best for the football team. And the only person who can make that decision, and you hope it makes it right, is Dave Canales at this point. Let's talk practice here for a little while because Rashad Beard, I said earlier, Panthers handing out a little free dose of hopium to the Carolina Panther fans lately because the reports are right now that BY's been looking smooth in practice, that Deontay's been getting open and taking the top off the defense. Thielen's been able to do what he does best, which is find the spots in the coverage to sit down and present the numbers in a target to Bryce Young. Obviously, as far as what the Panthers give you, it's only going to be the positives. But you got beat reporters at practice right now that are saying, hey, BY's hitting the targets. The footwork's clean. He's taking his time and he's finding the right throws and then he's making them. Is this best foot forward, or is there a little something about BY9 in practice right now that's got folks legitimately feeling pretty good about it?
No, I think he's been getting better. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen him go from not playing well at the start of training camp to getting better and better and better. And now you're starting to see the progression with us pushing the football down the field. That was a big concern during training camp, was like, hey, man, where's the deep passes? Why are we not getting the football or stretching the football down the field? And you started to see it at the end of training camp. So this just all goes back to us trusting the process, trusting what Canales is doing, and allow him to put in the work that he's done with previous quarterbacks like Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. We've seen it work. Let's see if it's going to work here. And I think we're heading in the right direction. Again, you've got Bryce is better because the offensive line is now improved. The weapons around him has improved. So it's not just about him as an individual. It's about everything else around him. Everything else is better on paper than it was last year. So hopefully Bryce will also improve. And yeah, as far as the beat reporters go, there's some trusted beat reporters out there that really will keep it real and keep it honest about how Bryce Young is performing. If he's not good, they'll say he's not good. But if he is good, they'll give him the props to say he is good. So all signs are pointing to that he is playing well, and I should trust it. And just a quick call back to us not playing our starters. There's a positive aspect to that too, right? Somebody's going to get a little surprise week one, right? If nobody knows what's going on, nobody's seen our offense, somebody's going to get a little bit of surprise. And I think that's going to be New Orleans Saints. I don't know how you feel about that, but we could catch somebody off guard. You know what I mean?
No, listen, I absolutely agree. I'll tell you, I've already picked this team to split with every NFC South team. I'm picking them 1-1. I'm a little less optimistic about a split with the Falcons. You know, I can't stand an Atlanta Falcon. I'm happy to pick them to lose every game, but with the additions of Judon and Simmons like that, the defense got a hell of a lot better in 2 days last week. So I'm a little more apprehensive about Atlanta, but I think you're splitting with New Orleans. I went home and home. I think my team has taken a painful step back this year. There's an opportunity for Carolina to go on the road and win, especially if they have kept the smoke screen up. If BY is a different dude this year, if Deontay is that X receiver we wanted him to be, if that allows Thielen to be the Z wide receiver he always should have been out of the slot, there's some issues in the New Orleans secondary. There's some issues with the defensive line, which is the other spot, or with the offensive line, which is the other spot Carolina should be much better at, is across the defensive line. I got to tell you, man, Carolina's strengths might match up with New Orleans' weaknesses for a 1-0 start to the season. And if you come out of the gate with the dub on the road in week one, I think the entire mood around this team shifts immediately.
It will. And again, I don't think it'll surprise anybody if we do lose. But if we do go out there and are even like competitive, even if it's a close game, like I think we'll get some confidence going into the weeks prior or weeks after that, and I think we'll be able to capitalize on it. But don't be surprised. I mean, we really got to just let it play out. Let's see what we got. I know it sucks. We want to see our guys, but let's see what happens. I think we're going to be heading in the right direction for sure. I'm excited.
Talk to me real quick about the wide receivers. Got a couple more minutes with Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. We talked about him a minute ago. Deontay Johnson, from what I understand, running good routes, running crisp routes, getting open over the top. Adam Thielen there. I still think you got to find the why. I still think you got to find the two, the guy that's going to be in the middle. We've seen some bad out of TMJ and John Mingo. We've seen a couple of good spots out of TMJ and John Mingo. A couple of other guys on this roster that are trying to fit in. Is anybody taking that step forward to be the guy that's between? Is it going to be Xavier Legette? Have we seen anything out of him, not in the games, but in practices, that make you believe he's figured it out? Where do you guys stand with the number 2 wide receiver right now?
Yeah, if I had to call it right at this moment, I would say Mingo. Mingo has taken a big step. Some call him the camp MVP for training camp, or most improved, excuse me, not MVP, most improved player. He's working with Steve Smith in the offseason. He's gotten better. His route recognition or his route abilities, his route running abilities gotten better. And I would say recognition too. For those you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, he's gotten better. His hands, I know he had to drop in the first preseason game, but he's getting better. And I think all receivers has drops. Come on, let's be real here. Not everybody's 100% there. So it is what it is there. I think that we'll get better. Mingo's getting better. Legette, we haven't seen much of him in training camp just because he's been dealing with injuries, hamstring here, ankle there. It's been a little banged up, little rough start for Legette. But I do think he would develop into potentially wide receiver 2 some point down the road. But right now, I got to give it to Mingo, and I'm excited about the wide receiver group. I think they're all getting better, and I think we'll be fine there for sure.
I'm excited about the wide receiver group is a sentence that a Panther fan hasn't said in a very, very long time.
That is a fact.
One more before we let you go, Big Dog. We got on the road at the Bills. Like we mentioned earlier, Buffalo not going to play their starters in preseason game 3. I know we don't know if Carolina is going to yet or not, Rashad Beard, but as far as coaching individual position units, individual players, whatever, what's going to make Rashad Beard finish up this weekend saying, all right, I'm good with the preseason. I'm happy with what I saw. What do you want to see out of this team this weekend that makes you feel like that step forward you've been looking for got taken?
Yeah, and obviously we're going to see this because maybe our starters play, maybe they don't. But I want to see us continue to develop that depth, right? It's all good. It's a long season, right? Your starters, you protected them all preseason. Somebody's probably going to get injured down the road. I want to see that depth tested. And I want to make sure we have those guys ready to go if their number is called. Guys like Trevin Wallace have stepped up to the plate. I mean, I've come up here and I got to eat crow on every place I go because that's a pick that I did not like. And he is coming out here and he's doing a fantastic job. All praises for Trevin Wallace. He's doing really well. 3rd round pick. Nobody really liked it, but he's balling right now. Guys like Damani Richardson, undrafted free agent, who having a great offseason and training camp and preseason. He's doing a wonderful job there, testing that depth. We have some injuries at the safety position, so it'd be good to see him continue to develop. So I'm looking for that defense, guys. The depth on defense, especially from the pass rushers, guys like Iku Leota, DJ Johnson, they've got to step it up because I have a feeling we're going to be playing the waiver wire, looking for another edge rusher and another cornerback. So I think that depth is really something I'm looking for. Same goes for the offensive line. I know we signed these big names, but we need to make sure that depth is tested and is ready to go if their numbers are called. So it's all about depth. I want to see guys like Jalen Coker out there go out and make that final push to make the roster. It's going to be tough, but we'll see what he's got. Guys like David Moore, we got to see what we got in him. Mike Strawn, all those wide receivers that we talked about, we need that depth. So all about the depth for me and seeing what we got.
Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, get over to the YouTube channel, Panther Nation Podcast. They are live all the time. Posted yesterday a live roundtable with fans and podcast hosts from the other NFC South teams. I'll be watching that later on this afternoon to check in. Make sure you follow them, turn those alerts on, and get subscribed to the Panther Nation podcast on YouTube. My guy, next time we talk, buddy, we're counting down to week 1, partner.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Really quick, we having a marathon stream next week for Cut Down Day. We're going to go live the entire day to track everything. It's going to be fun because it's important. The Panthers have the number 1 waiver wire selection, right? So all these guys that get cut, we'll have the first right to select them and pick them up and put them on our roster. I'm pretty sure Dan Morgan, the company, are going to be playing that waiver wire to the T. So we're going to be watching it, covering everything. It's going to be a really, really fun stream.
Oh, I like it. You need somebody to kill time, call me.
Come through, man. Come through.
My man, Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. Big Dog, talk to you next week, brother.
All right, peace out, guys. Thank you.
Later on, Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast. Again, make sure you're following them on X at Panther Nation PC and on YouTube by searching and subscribing to the Panther Nation podcast. When we come back here in just a minute, a little bit more college football week 0 talk, and then Fight Club with the great Milonzo at 9:20. Talk a little MMA, a little boxing, a little pro wrestling, all coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
The Atlanta Braves dropped the second in a 3-game set to the Philadelphia Phillies yesterday, 3-2, bringing the series even at a game apiece. Max Fried gave up 2 runs on 4 hits in 7 innings. The Braves collected 9 hits but couldn't find the win despite multiple base runners in the bottom of the 9th. Philadelphia's lead in the East is now back to 7 games, and Atlanta is a game and a half up on the Mets for the final wild card spot. Clemson Tigers secured their second quarterback of the 2026 class in the signing of Brock Bradley out of Birmingham, Alabama. Bradley also had offers from Wake Forest, Cincinnati, and West Virginia. Hey, you know what time it is? It's football time. Tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels get the high school football season started as they head to TL Hanna to take on the Yellow Jackets. It's Burns versus TL Hanna right here when you're home for Burns Rebels football, the Fan Upstate.
Up to the minute, upstate traffic. The Cordell and Cordell construction cam shows they finally threw up the road work southbound 85 at Pelham. Traffic is slow to stop and go back to the 101. Downtown Greenville, North Church is really stacked up between 123 and East Stone, and the intersection of Wade Hampton and Pleasantburg Drive is slow. From the News Talk.
All right. Enjoy some Kool-Aid while we're here. Like I said, man, the dose of hopium available is strong right now.
It's so lame. The hopium copium thing, it's lame, dude.
It's not lame.
It's lame.
Sometimes you just need a big old whiff of hopium. Something to hang on to. Something. It's all about hopium's all about the positivity, the power of positivity.
I don't need to tie my words to drugs. Hope is hope. It doesn't have to be tied to enhanced hope, whatever that is.
Sometimes you need a little extra optimism, a little extra positivity.
You're right. Hope is not strategy, but sometimes hope is all you have. Strategy only goes so far. It's the tools you have to make the strategy work, and sometimes you don't have those.
WORD Spartanburg.
3 friends in the first break.
And 4.
The Upstate Fan. The Fan.
Upstate.
An Odyssey sports station. Warning.
Man, check this out.
Your unofficial Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Locked down.
This is the Rob Brown Show. Get robbed. Only on
The Fan Upstate.
Burn it down. Burn it down.
Off we go into the final hour of the Rob Brown Radio Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, with you, wrapping up our Thursday of broadcasting and moving ever closer to college football week 0, which gets kicked off at noon this Saturday. Florida State and Georgia Tech with the first action of the 2024 football season. SMU will play later on in that day out of the ACC as well. And then, of course, a little midnight madness as Hawaii and Delaware get going at midnight, 11:59 p.m. kick from the Big Island. And yeah, I will be tuned in. I will be tuned in till 3:30 in the morning watching college football. Don't call me on Sunday morning. I won't be up. I'm not playing golf. I'm not getting up to do radio. I'm doing nothing Sunday. I'm sleeping till noon because I'm staying up till 3:30 a.m. partying like it's 1999 because that was back when I was young and capable of partying until 3 in the morning. I'm bringing it back to the old school, staying up way past my bedtime. Because who doesn't want eyes on Hawaii and Delaware at midnight? Me. This guy.
Wow. Hawaii and Delaware.
Can't wait. The Hornets and the Warriors, baby, gonna be
which one's the Hornets?
That'd be Delaware. Who, by the way,
because when you think of Delaware, you think Hornets. Are you sure they're Hornets? You're absolutely sure,
Lonzo? Your team's named after a nut.
Are you sure Delaware are Hornets though?
Yeah, I am. I only learned that, however, because the other day, I think it was the bus that was supposed to bring them to the airport to get on their flight to Hawaii was late, and so they missed their flight to Hawaii. So they actually had to schedule another bus to bring them to the airport to catch another flight to make it to Hawaii on time so that they could be prepped for this game. And my only thought was, there's a big group of people on a flight to Hawaii that are real happy because they don't have a bunch of big-ass offensive line sitting next to them.
I have to correct you because a lot of people in Delaware are probably pretty upset. It's Delaware State.
Oh, sorry, Delaware State.
Yeah, I mean, people get pretty offended when there are more than two teams in a state, and you don't throw the state part on there, and that there's confusion. So it's Delaware State.
It's like if a school demands that you call them the school and you call them N school. It's very offensive, is what it is.
Well, N school is not grammatically correct, but if that's what you want to do, I mean,
You know what is grammatically correct? And Ohio State University.
I was going to say me very seldom.
All right. Keegan said, someone on the Rob Brown show offended? Never. No, it couldn't be us. Couldn't be us, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we talked some Carolina Panthers with Rashad Beard in the last segment. If you missed that interview, we'll get it posted for you later on today and put it out on the social media as well, as I will have plenty of time while I sit in a body shop waiting to, fingers crossed, get my car fixed freaking finally. All of that being said, anything that jumped off the page at you about our conversation with Rashad? Because I got to tell you, Lonzo, like, I'm at the point now, as we have covered this team's offseason extensively, some of us breathing in the hopium to a great extent.
This is almost as bad as Glizzy. Almost. It's almost as bad as that. Yeah. It's not.
I spent the break trying to figure out how in the world I was going to work hopium and glizzy into the same sentence. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'll get it before the end of the show. All right.
I think I just did, but okay.
Well, I meant in a way that, okay. So, I'm kind of at the point where I don't really know what else there is to say, right? Like, I don't know what else there is to say about this program, about this franchise. We've talked about the practices. Yes. Bryce Young looks better. There are beat reporters, as Rashad Beard pointed out, that cover the team on a daily basis that have no problem keeping it real and don't care if they are labeled a hater.
I hate interrupting. I don't really, but you say Bryce Young looks better, but we have to listen to someone else's opinion on that. We haven't seen him look better. So a couple people say he looked better. Maybe they're wearing Panther glasses and maybe they're trying to be extra positive and saying he looks better. Maybe he doesn't. I want my eyes on the product a little bit. Play him just a little bit in the preseason. Give me something. Give me a reason to tune in next week.
The reason to tune in next week is because it's football season. That's the reason. But I would say two things. I would say the first thing is exactly what Rashad Beard said. And as somebody who has played this role before, some of the folks that are saying good things about BY are, much like me when I cover a team, reporters that don't have any personal affiliation to the team, and therefore don't have a problem being hypercritical when it's time to be hypercritical, right? This is why we had Anish Shroff on the show a couple of weeks ago, the voice of the Panthers, and Diesel asked him, what's the difference between being a national play-by-play guy that calls the games of every team versus the voice of a specific team? And Anish's answer was, it's you got to be very careful about when you're critical of teams that you are talking about when you are not a specific beat writer for that team, because all that happens is you get labeled as a hater, right? You get told, oh, you're just a hater, just a hater, just a hater, when you're just offering what you think is valid analytical criticism. Some of the folks that are covering this team, they're not connected to the Panthers. They don't have any reason to be positive or negative. They just have a reason to be straightforward, and they are the ones saying this. A. B, as I have talked about, as we brought up with Rashad, and as I've said to you a couple of times over the past couple of weeks, like, yes, we all want to see him play. Yes, we all want to see development. Yes, we all want to see what he looks like. But that's what we want. And what we want isn't always what is best for the franchise, for the quarterback, for the coach, for the team at large. And on top of all of that, going out this week and playing, let's say, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 series against the Buffalo Bills backups, I don't know how much that's going to tell you. That's not a starting NFL unit. That's a group full of reservists, of second string guys. So what's the difference between him doing that and him going out there and playing 60 snaps of live practice scrimmage against the Jets starters?
There's a big difference. We get to see it. So if he's so great in practice, and this is just a glorified practice when they play the second and third stringers from Buffalo, good. We get to see what he looked like in practice. And if he looked that good in practice against the Jets number 1s, he should tear it up Saturday against Buffalo's 2s and 3s. I just want to see a little bit. That's all, just a little bit. And well, he could get hurt. You know what? He could get hurt in practice too. I mean, you can get hurt getting out of the shower. Show me something. Get out there and show me. I want to see a little bit. And I believe Panther fans want to see some too. Just show me something. Because right now it looks like you're hiding.
Again, get it, understand, get where you're coming from. Again, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we want. Doesn't matter how we feel. Doesn't matter. What matters is what's the best decision to make the football team the best the football team can be. And the answer is, if Dave Canales says him sitting the last week and getting his first real action against New Orleans in a couple of weeks, then that's the right decision. What we want is irrelevant. I know it stinks when you make the realization as a fan. College football fans are dealing with this very heavily right now. I know it stinks when you as a fan eventually come to the realization and the revelation that it's not about you and it never has been. Is it about us and that they got to sell tickets and put our eyes on the TV so that we can watch and enjoy football? Yes, but you know what does that more than anything else? Winning games does that more than anything else. So at the end of the day, the most important thing is that Dave Canales figures out what is best for Bryce Young, what is best for this team, and if it goes in direct contrast to what 100% of Panther fans think they want in the preseason, you're all just gonna have to deal with it and get ready for week 1. Yes, it hurts our feelings, no doubt about it, but that is, again, largely irrelevant, because if the Panthers come out and they go on the road in week number 1 and they knock off the New Orleans Saints in week number 1, even if in great protest you don't watch week 1, you go, oh, they didn't play BY in the preseason. They didn't give me a reason to get excited, so I'm not watching week 1. I'm protesting this. If they go down to New Orleans and they beat New Orleans in week 1, I'm willing to bet about 99% of those protesters are coming back for week 2, because would you look at that? We're 1-0 and not last in the division.
Last I checked, sports are entertainment. If I'm entertained, it affects my feelings. I feel entertained. I want to be entertained by this team. Play them a couple series.
I mean,
entertain me.
You will